just to kind of, and that's just free game for a photographer out there.
Free game.
Getting off the one-off projects, like position yourself to be retaining clients, having those conversations up front too. Because you talked about that communication piece. So how do you, and I don't want to be asking all the questions, but you just have a lot of knowledge and I want to pull it out.
I don't, yeah.
So how did you get to that point of where you were able to communicate more upfront with the client? So instead of just, hey, can you come take my birthday photos? How much does it cost? Because that's typically what people will do. Do you have a different process that you use for like a discovery or a call, or what's that look like for you?
I ask a lot of questions. Like I ask a lot of questions because one, I want to be able to give you what you want or you're asking for. But then,
yeah, we got DM Braxton in the, we got DM Braxton in the, we got DM Braxton in the classroom.
I never thought I'd be able to go back to school or sit in classrooms because the way of teaching just wasn't for me. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that information is really the key to unlocking your future, unlocking your ability, and unlocking everything that you need to know in life. So today and for the foreseeable future, welcome to the Content Classroom. I'm sitting here with D. This show is brought to you by Ideas Inspire Information. And let's get to work. How are you today, D?
I'm doing pretty good.
So, how do you feel about the Content Classroom?
You know what? I'm really excited to be doing this because, first of all, it is right in line with my personal mission. So without further ado, class is in session. Today, we're going to be talking through marketing your photography and videography business. So we're getting into the business of creating.
Business. That's probably the part that you start off creating and you forget, oh, wait, I actually am good at this. Now I need to figure out how to make some money effective and efficiently for my future.
Exactly. And that comes down to business.
Yeah.
That comes down to business. I always say this, there's probably someone who is not as good as you at what you're doing, who's making more money than you.
Yeah.
But it's not because of their skill level, it's just because they're good at business.
Yeah.
They know how to sell, they know how to market.
So we're sitting here in 2D Filmworks. This is your studio.
Yes.
When you decided to build this, how did the business structure change from when you were just blatantly creating?
Oh man, it has changed drastically. So as a creator, as a service provider, we're focused on providing a good service, right? So to keep it in line with the marketing conversation, what changed drastically was, number one, the product, what I'm selling is no longer the result of a good photo, a good video, a brand session. I'm no longer selling that in the sense that I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. Now what I'm learning to sell and market is the space to create. So as far as my business structure, legally, on the legal side, tax side, business structure didn't change too drastically. You know, we're not going to get into depth on that. That did not change too drastically. But what's important, though, is that how I was marketing changed drastically. And I'll tell you this quick story before we hop in back to photography and videography side. One of my friends, she also has a studio in Tuscaloosa, and it's an amazing content studio. Shout out to them. They're called the Room Set Studios. And she let me know, and she does not do photography. She does not do videography. She's actually an actress. And she decided she wanted to have a studio because she's just really creative. And it's dope. It's a dope space. She told me, because I was struggling for a while. We've been open 6 months. The first 3 months, rentals were like not really happening like that. And I didn't know why. But she looked at my Instagram page. She looked at our Instagram page and she was like, well, you show a lot of like the finished product of your photos, the finished product of photos that people take, videos that people make. And she was like, that's cool, but you're not actually promoting the space. You're just promoting a lot of the work that's being done in the space. And she was like, so people probably don't realize that they can just come and rent the space because they don't see the space. They just see the work that's being done in the space. But it's because in my mind, I was still marketing and
Your business.
my service,
Photography, yeah.
my photography, videography, the service provision of it, instead of marketing just the space. Because now the space is the product, right? And so that was a drastic like switch for me that came out of, like you said earlier, the creating space. I'm used to just like creating, getting behind the camera, telling people to do this or pose like that or all of that, and then posting it, showing the work, showing the behind the scenes of creating, and not actually caring about where it was shot as much. But that was a big switch for me in the sense of like now as a business, right now our primary focus is not just the service we provide, but also the space that we provide to other creators.
Yeah.
So that was a big shift in the marketing.
That's good. So I've seen personally people having to understand marketing not for themselves but for other people. And so it's not you that you're marketing to.
Right.
It's the exterior form of you. So basically like grabbing hold of your subconscious and saying, hey, if I was outside of myself, what would I be looking for or need from a service provider? And a lot of times we, being ourselves, look at what we need first instead of what the customer needs, because that's how you're gonna make sales and do business, because you have to serve people. If you serve yourself every day, but the same cereal you eat might not be the same bowl of fruit I eat, even if it's from the same factory, whatever that.
No, that's good, because I do have a question for you, because you like are still really in the service providing space, and I'm not in it, but obviously I'm very pregnant.
Yes.
So there's only so much I can do, so much that I'm willing to do. But I saw this on Threads, and I've seen it before in other places, but I was reading it on Threads like this week, and it was just a business owner, and they were talking about marketing and selling, and they say, of course, like, don't sell the product, don't sell the service, sell the benefit. So as a videographer and a photographer, how do you do that? How do you sell the benefit and not just like I'm selling me coming and setting up my cameras and my lights and my mics?
So a big thing that I'm doing right now, especially, is not coming in just to show you what the product is that you're gonna get, because obviously you called me for that product. Now I'm in here and I'm telling you ways that this product is going to help you make sales, increase revenue, bring more people in your door, improve your notoriety, your not likeness, but your authority in the space based on the content that's being created around your thing. Now I'm solidifying myself as not only a marketer, but an expert in why you're doing this thing. So at some point, you might not even call me to come shoot something. You might just be calling on a consult or advice or needing to know based on the information I've already given you. That's just because information is so important. And if you don't have information, how do you expect to be able to help somebody or somebody help you? Like, we can't learn without information. So the more information you give, the more valuable you are in your space. So that's what I've been doing a lot, is making my value different in this lane by knowing why you need this versus, hey, I want this.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times clients call with a vision, but that vision isn't going to take them to where they need or want to be because they don't know how to use the stuff. And a lot of times people just don't know.
Yeah.
They don't have time to know because they're in their field doing their thing.
Right. So how did you get from, because you said that's what you're doing now, that's what you pivoted to now, just as a mature videographer and photographer, right?
Yes.
How did you go from where you were at first to maybe not fully communicating the value of what they're getting, or even bringing that information to say, like, you're not just getting a video, like, this is for the purpose of X, Y, and Z, revenue, growing your audience, like lead attraction. So how did you get from just shooting a video and saying I'm just a videographer to like I'm actually providing you value?
One, communicating, verbalizing. Like, it's a lot of information in my head, but I don't say stuff a lot of times. And so I realized that I would make things for clients and they not use it right. Well, I didn't tell them how to use it. I didn't explain to them, hey, this would probably be best if you used it this way and did this or that, or did it this time of day or this time of year based on market structure.
So even you as a creative, you had to like learn some of that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like there's a line in creating. There's a how to do the thing and how to use the thing.
That's good.
And so like when you're
Break
learning
that down. Yeah, break that down.
when you're learning how to use the thing, you're not thinking about where to put it. You're thinking about, hey, how does this shot work in this scenario at this place? Or how does this lighting need to be? Or should I use this lens and shoot it this? Like you're thinking about the technicals of the actual aesthetics.
Right.
But now, once you know that, you just walk in a place and you know what you're going to do. Or you know beforehand because you've done your research. When it transitions to, all right, I'm shooting this way because this is going to work best for viewers or customers or just people that need to know. Or then you start, it comes out of, I don't even know if that's instinct at that point. It's learned value. So when you learn how to use the value that you have, like I can set up a camera and I'm not worried about, because I know what it's second nature.
Yeah.
But now it's like, all right, how do I use this product to reach as many people as possible to help them increase their brands or businesses, because they're doing stuff, but it's not helping them, and everybody's in media now.
Right.
So if you have to have your phone in your hand, be in front of the people. Like leverage the content for your own good, because people if they don't know about it, they can't use it. They don't. They don't see it. They can't come to it.
I want to take it a step back. So I'm thinking of like a photographer who they get a lot of like birthday shoots, which is awesome, and they're good, like amazing. They might even be like almost to like creative director good, but they still undercharge, right? So I'm thinking about like, they may not be shooting people for a brand, like for a business or brand. They may not have gotten to that point where they're shooting like businesses and stuff like that, which is where the money is, by the way. But what do you say to someone like that? Like how would you communicate value to like the lifestyle shooter that is shooting like those life moments?
Yeah.
And that's what they do. That's what they want to do.
Yeah. And now,
that's a challenge.
My question is, what am I communicating?
Okay.
No, I'm asking you.
Oh.
What is it that I'm communicating?
So I guess let me
for like the
question.
birthday shooter to like the travel shooter. What are you asking that I need to be able to
so like how would you, if you were looking at a photographer, and I'm actually specifically thinking of like Birmingham, our local area.
Yeah.
Like I want to provide value to like photographers who might stumble upon this, right?
Yeah.
Photographer, they shoot a lot of like lifestyle portrait work, graduations, birthdays, maternity shoots. I don't know, maybe the occasional engagement. Yeah. Maybe they don't shoot weddings, but they can do everything up to a wedding, right? Because weddings are highly lucrative.
Yes.
Yeah, but we're not going to even go there.
Yeah, that's another show.
But that is another episode. Yeah. But like they've written a studio with one or two clients at a time. And then, because I'm thinking like, and I've done this, and this is why I pivoted a little bit.
Yeah.
But when you have, you're shooting lifestyle moment to moment, you're going to shoot someone when their graduation, right? When's the next time you're going to shoot that client?
Okay.
So how do you market a photography, and you're good? I ain't saying you just started out. You're really good.
Yeah. Retention.
So what's the ongoing marketing and retention like to actually make a sustainable living doing that type of work? What's that look like? How do you market it?
That's definitely
how do you grow?
Those one-off type works.
Right. Which is, it also applies to videography, one-off projects.
Yes. So a couple ways I would market those. One is, and I have this in my own website, like reward points. And so it depends on how your business structure is set up too, which is that's another conversation. But being able to reward people based on their loyalty to not you, but loyalty to, hey, this is what you'll get because we work often. Like if you got a birthday or if you bring somebody, or like being able to use that person as referrals, and then giving them options to say, hey, because I got a friend that shoots a specific person probably 4, 5, 6, 7 times a year on different types of things. So
Right.
it's like they don't have to have those shoots, but they keep coming. But there's something outside of your work that has to bring people back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's one, the personality of a person, and what you're going to offer the people
Yeah.
that are coming. So if you do birthday shoots and you shoot somebody, maybe you shoot a prominent figure in the city or just in general that a lot of people know. If you do a good job, they're going to keep referring.
Right.
So it's basically a referral based level. Just base level is referrals.
Yeah.
The second
So like
part
we have
is
referral marketing,
yes,
which is you refer your friends,
exactly,
and maybe you get a percentage off your next shoot.
yeah, and then it's really conveying to people that, hey, this you now isn't going to be this you in 3, 6, 9, 12 months.
That's good. That's good.
So don't regret something because you've heard, man, I wish I had these pictures, or at least a picture at this point or stage in life. Just take out the time and go do the picture or do the video shoot, especially for businesses. So it's interesting because individual personship and businessship are completely different.
Totally
You
different.
can maybe take a picture once or twice a year as an individual if you care. You don't have to because we have phones. We can just take it on our phone
Yeah.
and keep that memory. But if you have a business, everything's continuously changing. So if you're not at least trying to be in front of the evolution, you're going to be behind.
That's
and then
good.
your business could suffer based off of, especially if your business is not a reoccurring business structure. Like if you just come to do something at this place one time, then no new people are coming because they don't see the thing.
Exactly.
So figuring out how to say, hey, this is going to sustain and grow me in the future would be probably.
No, that's really good.
Yeah, there's no. I was trying to think of a word for that to specify that, but I don't. Other than retention.
Yeah, because that's ultimately what you want to get to is
Yeah.
like some sort of retaining of clients, right? Which is I've heard of, and when you were talking, you made me think of this example. There was this lady that I was speaking to recently because she has a baby, and the baby is about to be 1 or just turned 1, something like that. But she told me about this photographer that did her newborn photos. And I don't think they did her maternity shoot, but they did the newborn photos. And this is genius. And I don't do newborn photos. Like, maybe I'll start when I have a baby.
Kind of fun,
but we'll
It's just
see.
not that bad because the baby isn't going to do anything.
Right. Like, that's what I've been seeing a lot of.
Yeah.
I'm contemplating on that. But
You should do it.
she let me know,
Put
like,
baby right here.
yeah, right. It looks so easy, but what if it's not that easy? Everything looks easier on Instagram.
It does.
But
That's the final project spot.
facts. But she let me know, like, we were just talking about random stuff, really. And she was like, oh, I got a photo shoot, like my baby's 1-year photo shoot for their birthday. And I was like, oh, so like how often do you do, how often are you doing photos for your baby? And me just asking, just like as a regular person, not a photographer, not a creative, I was just curious. She told me that the photographer that shot her newborn images put her on a 1-year birth plan or a 1-year plan to where they shot the baby throughout like a certain milestone. And so that made her keep coming. So she paid for that package. And so up front, that photographer, although it's just like lifestyle portraiture, the photographer now has somebody coming back for at least a year. Right. And so I was thinking about that concept as well when you were talking, because I totally forgot that she told me that until this very
I've
moment.
definitely heard about those. Those are,
Yeah.
especially for newborns, because you convert that into a lifetime photographer for your child. Like you basically have an 18-year plan.
Facts. And then I thought too, that's how a lot of people get into wedding photography, where they'll shoot somebody's engagement. And then because they like the engagement stuff, well, now I'm on contract for your wedding. And then you can even turn that into like 1 year, 2 year, 3 year anniversary to have repeat clients.
Children, family.
Because eventually
Dance,
they're going to have kids. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's basically
Some
like
people.
you've become the family photographer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I was also going to ask you this other question. So, as a, just to kind of, and that's just free game for a photographer out there,
Free game.
getting off the one-off projects, like position yourself to be retaining clients, having those conversations up front too, because you talked about that communication piece. So how do you, and I don't want to be asking all the questions, but you just have a lot of knowledge, and I want to pull it out.
I don't. Yeah.
So how did you get to that point of where you were able to communicate more upfront with the client? So instead of just, hey, can you come take my birthday photos? How much does it cost? Because that's typically what people will do. Do you have a different process that you use for like a discovery or a call, or what's that look like for you?
I ask a lot of questions. Like I ask a lot of questions because one, I want to be able to give you what you want or you're asking for. But then subconsciously you feel included in your idea. It's like, oh, they're invested into what I want to do. So hey, do you like this look or this look better? And
Right.
for me, that's a lighting change. But for you, oh, I like the way this looks. For me, that's okay. I know how I need to
What
set
you
up the
need
lighting for that
yeah.
look. So my questions are asked on an aesthetic level. So therefore, I know what to do to set up for you to get what you want. And so the asking question parts is really big, because even if it's something that you haven't tried before, if you've asked enough questions, you can practice it beforehand. And that's where experience comes from, is that have you trialed and errored enough to have a product to use at any point? Like, you could ask me something right now about a photo or a video thing, and I feel confident and I can give you an answer in 30 seconds of why this is the thing. So then back to your original question, people have to feel comfortable, because if you're uncomfortable in a shoot, it's going to be hard for the photographer or videographer to get the genuine person out of you. So you were at the workshop. I'm doing headshots. I'm kind of wild, but I want the genuine smile out of you, because now your guard is down, you relaxed. Sitting in front of a camera and looking at it is like, all right, you're not gonna talk back to me. What am I?
Yeah, and that's a good soft skill that anyone behind the camera should have.
Yeah,
because as soon as you pull out a camera, guards
like,
go up, whether you want them to or not.
Yeah.
Not very many people are just comfortable in front of a camera.
Yeah, that's true, and that's a skill that is.
It's a skill all in itself.
Yeah, like for you to hop in front of a camera and be comfortable, but then there be a person back there, because you feel like people actually aren't used to the spotlight being on them and them solely alone.
X.
And so when people get to a point where it's like, oh, I can just hop in the camera in front and talk, it's really self-confidence. Like, how do you feel about yourself? Because what you're doing in front of this is going to portray to the whole world.
Exactly.
So how can the person behind that help you be genuine to yourself, for you to portray your true self to the world? Because people really want to see true people.
Yeah.
It's not the Kardashians of the world.
That's real. And even when you think about the Kardashians of the world, like, they started out their reality show. They started out, they were one of the first real bona fide reality shows, and they let it all out.
Yeah.
Like, all of it. Whether we want to say it was contrived and made up or not, production or not, they was out there embarrassing themselves.
I think
for real.
reality shows earlier
were
were
more real.
Yeah.
That stuff was, they was really fighting and beefing, like, with their brother and sister on camera. But anyway, so how do you market your services? What's your game plan when you're marketing, and say, like, you got somebody who they stumble across your work or whatever that looks like? What's your marketing process? How do you get somebody from being interested and they like your stuff to, like, pick up the phone, send an email, book?
First base level is probably referrals again for me, because I don't do a bunch of, actually I do nearly any actual marketing or advertisement. And then second is I can post a lot. I don't think I've I've done the best job over time, but more recently, I've definitely from my viewpoint of making the creation to delivering it for somebody to post, I'm like, oh, all you had to do is this, and this. But you don't know that, one, because either I didn't tell you or I didn't exemplify it.
Mm-hmm.
So one, I'm exemplifying it by, I'm going to post every day. There's no reason I shouldn't because I have all the content.
Yeah. So for getting those referrals, obviously it's from people who have worked with you before.
Mm-hmm.
They tell somebody, and they bring somebody else, and then that person also still might come back for more work too,
Yes.
like the referral and the original client.
Yes.
How do you get to that original client in the first place? How do people find you who don't know you? I met you here,
Yes.
but it wasn't on no work stuff. It was just like,
Yeah, I came to your event.
yeah, hanging out.
If I came to your event and I start talking about, hey, how do you do this for this type business, but I never pull a camera out, you'd never know what I do.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
but then from Instagram, and then it was just like a snowball effect. Hey, I met you. Oh, now you follow social medias.
And they see you on social
Yeah.
media, all your work.
It's
That
like,
makes sense.
Oh, instead of saying, hey, I do this, and this, here's a business card. Huh.
Go look.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, oh, I'm a genuine person. I'm not trying to sell to you. This is just what I do. There's a service that you're probably going to need.
Yeah.
And when you're ready, you're going to come. Then when you come, it's you in there because now I'm just, hey, this is what you should do for this to improve this because you're coming because you need help. People go do things because they already know what they need.
Mm-hmm.
But if you over-deliver on stuff even that people don't even know they don't know that they don't know that they need.
Give me an example.
Let me take a sip.
Oh, no, that's all good. No, and that's really good because when I was first starting out in photography and videography, and it was mainly just photography at the time. I added videography a little later. But when I was starting out doing photography, just a personal story right along with what you're saying. I started in Louisville, Kentucky. I just had a camera because I had one, I just had a camera, whatever.
Yeah.
And I didn't know people paid for that type of stuff, though. Like, they don't tell you that in college, at least not when I was going through college. And so, anyway, I always had my camera on me. I was always somewhere just shooting for the fun of it because I enjoyed it. And I would literally get people hey, can you come shoot my baby's birthday party? Hey, do you do like this kind of photography? Do you do that? And they would see me with my camera, actually doing a good job, and introduce myself, talking, and they find me online.
Yeah.
And so it was like more situations where I'm out and about, I have my camera, I'm doing work, and then when you're making those personal connections, then you're telling them who you are. They gonna find you on Facebook, they gonna find you on Instagram, they gonna see your work, and you're gonna get the client.
Yeah.
And not even trying to sell. Again, I stumbled into it. I didn't know people were paying for that type of stuff when I started. Because I wasn't around a lot of entrepreneurs. I had a regular 9-to-5. It was a great little easy job. I'm watching YouTube all day, sitting at the desk. But just to your point of just being where people are, being genuine, and just doing good work, that made, when I started out, that made my business. I wasn't doing any crazy marketing. I didn't know how.
Yeah.
But I was huge on referrals. I was huge on just working with people. They like it. They telling other people. Like, I had so much word of mouth business. Even when I moved to Birmingham, it was hard because I never actually learned how to market.
Yeah.
And so I was still getting more work up in Louisville, and I was going back to Louisville a lot.
Yeah.
Just because, I'm working up here,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to figure it out down here. But it was that hustle of I was just being out where people were. I had my camera, making connections, making friends, and that turned into word of mouth and referral marketing. And I think that's huge because a lot of times there's this misconception that you need to have all these followers. You need to have all of this stuff. You just need to be doing the most on the internet. When word of mouth and referral-based marketing is still a big driver for small businesses and entrepreneurs. But yeah, what were you gonna say? Give me the example you were gonna give.
Visibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's visibility is huge. So just like you said, they knew you in Louisville because you went to the places you were out. Well, they didn't know who you were here or what you did. but you created a whole place now. So now, this is the simple concept of you build
Right.
it, they'll come. But there's a marketing that has to go behind it
Yeah.
because I don't know what to go to because I haven't seen it.
Facts.
You could build a
Visibility.
Walmart in the middle of the woods,
But
but
nobody knows
yeah.
that. Yeah.
but everybody knows Walmart's everywhere. But if you build at Walmart and then put a sign up, every time somebody sees the sign, it's a trigger, and that's basically what social media is in the content world. It's
That's
the trigger.
good. Yeah.
How many times am I gonna see this person or this work before I become a client or customer of?
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you said that.
A higher percentage of people are consumers.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do you differentiate yourself between the production side and the consumer side, where you got to produce, which now you're creating a brand for yourself. And it's a whole strategy behind it from there. But yeah, if they don't see you, then it can't.
Visibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real. And then I love that Walmart example because as soon as somebody finds out there's a Walmart over there, they're going to tell somebody else, hey, there's a new Walmart over there.
Exactly. It's back
For
to
real,
word of
there's
mouth.
a new Walmart over there?
Back to word of mouth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like that's just how we are as people.
Yeah.
Like it always happens that way.
Communicate as being. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
that was
really good.
What else do you have on that?
Let's see. So we went from, visibility, being where people are, both physically, tangibly, like in events, out and about with your camera, and doing good work, but also online. So you said something that was really good with just like, how many times does someone have to see something in order to get them to take an action?
Yeah.
And we saw this at the event just a couple weeks ago where there was one young lady here, and she said that she saw the post for the event and then she registered to be here. And so I asked her how many times did she see it? Because we were talking about content consistency, which I think is a great direction to go now.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about visibility. And she said she saw it a lot of times. Like she couldn't give me a number, but I said, did you see it more than 7 times?
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And so the point I'm getting at with that is when it comes to visibility online, what would you say to photographers and videographers who they may not be in the whole understanding of personal branding and marketing and all that stuff, but maybe they could be doing more just being visible with their work? What would you say to someone like that?
Get out of your own way. We don't post stuff because of how we personally feel about it. It's not how anybody else is going to feel about it. It's how we feel about it. And we have our own measuring stick for ourselves. So when we're continuing to measure ourselves to our measuring stick, it keeps going up. It's like, all right, this isn't the best I can do. Oh, I could have done this. But that message is for someone, but you could possibly be holding their blessings back because you were subconsciously in your own head. When the thing's good, it might not be where you might think it needs to be for this specific thing, but it's where it needs to be to convey to other people.
Yeah.
And so with so many other people in the world, we have to be selfless.
That's good.
Say, okay, I've done this. Let me do what I need to do to it, and let me deliver.
Yeah.
And start being
I love that.
deliverers of stuff. Because what are we gonna do with it? It's just like
You're gonna put it on a hard drive.
exactly. It's gonna sit there,
And then buy another hard drive
it's
when
just
that
like,
one fills up.
They say people go to the grave and you're not in there with all the money. Well, what am I doing with
What
the
are you gonna
content?
do with? And I love that you said be selfless, because I think, and this is something that I've had to like get over, especially with the space, is like social media, when we're talking about just visibility online, the online space, it moves so fast.
Yeah.
So like the life cycle of these posts are not very long most times. And so as a small business owner, and which is what you are as a creative entrepreneur, if you're providing creative services, that is a business service.
Yeah.
Like you're a business now. One of the things that I've had to learn is to get out of my own way. Like I think, and I'm sure other people think this way too, but I think like if I post it, I don't want to post it too much and wear my audience out. But like, no, actually, You do,
Yeah.
because that's how it's going to stick. Like repetition sticks, especially online. But I was in my own way in that thinking. Like, I think they gonna get tired of seeing me post about this brunch mastermind, when the reality is there's a bunch of people who didn't see it the first 3 times. And if they didn't see it in my regular feed post, then maybe it's because they watch my stories more. And I haven't posted it to my stories as many times as I posted to my feed. So like now I just have to just keep doing it, right? But I love that whole like get out of your own way, because now when I realized that's what I did, I realized I was thinking about myself. I was thinking about how I felt about it. But I wasn't really thinking about the fact that like there's somebody who probably needs this information and needs to hear this guest and needs this, needs to be around other like-minded creatives who don't even know what's happening because I think I'm posting it too much, but I probably haven't posted it enough to reach that person. And at the end of the day, if I haven't reached the person that I need to reach, and it's my fault, I'm in the way, then I'm being selfish. Like I have to be selfless, get out of the way, and be out there for people to see what it is you're providing. Even if it is a photo shoot, there's somebody who needs a good photo of their baby, because I'm gonna need some. I'll probably take them, but the point is, like, if that's what you do, put it out there for people to see. Don't just send it to the client and then never show the rest of the world. Don't just send it to whoever you're sending it to and not show people your work, because that's how you're going to get more work.
Exactly.
And that's how people are going to see the value in what you do and want to pay you what you're worth.
That's really important. Being able to convey that thing by just being yourself and being selfless. Because if you keep holding things, one, you're going to slow yourself down from your potential. And then 2, you're going to you might be upset because you're going to see stuff you said, I could have done that better. But how could you have done it if no one even knows you do it?
How many times do we do that?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like every creator is probably falling into that thought trap of like, man, I could have done that, but nobody even knew you did. Like, that's what you do in the first place.
You don't even know you do that.
Right. Exactly. No, that's really good.
No, yeah. That made me think about how we want but don't put the work in. No, it's just a simple concept of faith without works.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Which is like, I love that concept just because a lot of times we talk about faith and doing the work, but sometimes, and I just started to think through this, sometimes like it even takes faith to, it even takes faith to put in the work that, like it takes a certain level of faith and self-confidence, which you were saying earlier, that confidence and that belief to keep putting your stuff out there, to keep showing up, even when you don't think people are seeing it. And that's something I had to get past. Like, I didn't think people were seeing our stuff about the studio until like I'm talking to people I don't even know, and they're like, oh, I've heard of you guys. Yeah. And I was like, oh. Well, that's what's up. Yeah. But even just matching your faith with your works, if you have faith to believe in your business, in whatever you do creatively, then that faith should also match how much work you're willing to put in to make it happen. And if you're not showing up, if you're not being visible, then that lets me know where your faith is about it. Which that's a whole other topic.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Where your confidence is, where your belief is, all of that. Because a lot of that is just mindset too.
Yeah, it's all in the subconscious. It's all in the psychologics. It's all in your head.
It really is.
And then like once you get out of your own way, everything else flows. Man. Especially to be able to market is you truly out of your own way to brand your business, because I am the billboard of my business. Yeah. I can't take a day off and say, hey, why didn't nobody buy today? Well, did you advertise yourself? Did you advertise
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and like that lets me know too, like you believe in what you do. If when I was starting out, I wasn't that great. And I didn't have a lot of confidence either.
Who is
because
that great when right.
I wasn't great. I didn't have a lot of confidence. So what did I do? I got better. And the better I got, the more likely I was to show it off, right? I wanted people to see it. But when I look at people who don't do that, who they might even be really good, but it's like, do you believe in what it is you're offering people? Because if you believe in it, you wouldn't hide it. What it talks about, I don't mean to get like too deep and spiritual, but like even in Matthew, it talks about like, don't hide your light under a bushel. You got a light and you don't want people to see it. You probably don't believe you really out here shining. Yeah.
You can't see where you're going.
You can't see it, and neither can anybody else. But that goes back to that visibility and that marketing, like putting it out there.
No, that's important. We turn the light out, we can't see. So you gotta have to see. I think that might be a stopping point for this part.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
No, I feel good.
Is class out of session?
You know what? Class is out of session today. Okay. Just get out there, be visible. Don't hide what you do.
Yeah, don't hide. Never mind. Never mind. Hey, y'all, we out of here. We'll see y'all later on.